Is it Movie Talks? It's the only podcast you need for all your movie news, movie reviews, and more. But what is happening? I tried to do a intro to one of our, I don't know, one of our shows. Lawson is bopping his
Something
head.
different.
He loves it, mixing it up, keeps you on your toes.
I
Sometimes you get a
didn't
little
like it.
bit.
I actually like this. I like the tried and true rhyme and repetition.
That's right. Like we had to do a multiple intros on Thursday night, and you guys loved it. So
It was a
we
mess.
we have fun. But we've
Of
got
course.
a star-studded lineup for you today. Is it Cake season 2 at Lawson's pick? Is it good? Is it not? It's on Netflix now. Season 2. See if
You
you can
bet.
pick the cakes. The Flash, he's running in. He's running in hot. It's a little bit of a controversial mess at the moment with the old Flash and the DC universe. We'll dive into it. And it's kind of like it's all coming to an Armageddon in 2025. See, then it wasn't great. It wasn't great.
Yeah, it's not bad. You've had
Uh,
worse. You've had better.
yeah,
Yep.
can't please you every time. We're gonna like have that rubber band effect, like comic relief. So it is time to get into people's favorite segment, which is movie news. That was a weird one, but
Yeah.
do you want to tell the people anything? What's happening in Lawsonville? If anything's exciting.
Not a lot. Uh, I'm probably gonna stream soon. That's about the only thing that's I've been working on recently.
Ah,
So decided on a name, which is exciting. Um, that's such a big deal to me. Even when I name characters in games, I spend so long thinking of the character's name. So Wild Lawson appeared, like the Pokemon, but it's also because I'm going to be very sporadic with my timings. I'm pretty bad at sticking to schedules, so it's just going to be whenever I get time and I feel like it, I'll be streaming. So that's the plan at the moment.
do
Picture
you know
it
what
on.
the easiest way to name a character is? Create them and name them after yourself.
He's going to say name it the same thing every time. Bulkman or
Yeah,
Ryman.
or Ryman.
Yep.
Yep, I've got an alter ego, which is myself. Hmm.
No, never. I don't think I've ever done that. Oh no, I did that once in Fallout.
Oh
I
yeah,
thought I'll do it once and
then you
didn't
hated
enjoy
it.
it. What's the point?
Because I want it to be me. But
I know.
we've got an Oscar winner actor, Alan Arkins, dies at 89.
I
So,
saw.
yeah, it's a bit sad. 89 is
I
a
don't think I
good
know
innings,
him.
though. Well, I'm sure he's in a lot of stuff that we watch, but I don't know. The
I scrolled
picture,
through his IMDb the other day and I'm like, I don't really know what you're from. From my, I mean, he's in lots, but like nothing I've really seen.
right. Well, another man whose alter ego is pretty much himself, it is Liam Neeson drives into danger in the Retribution trailer, which is out now, which I'm assuming is like pretty much every other Liam Neeson film where he is using a special skill set to either
Yeah,
fix his amnesia, save someone, or just to be a double agent, which is like every role that he's ever done. So,
give him some heartwarming stuff. I love him in Love Actually. Like he's such a sweetie. That's the sort of stuff I want to see him in more.
okay, okay. I don't know. I like his films. I like the same character. I'm happy.
Of
I'd
course.
I'd watch him. Watch
You're
him
happy
over and
with
over.
Taken 1, 2, and 3, and 16 and 48.
Well, one was
Point.
so good that two and
One
three
was pretty good.
unfortunately did not live up to the hype. So it's
Yep.
unfortunate. Kind of like the butterfly effect, where the butterfly effects 2 and 3 are shocking.
I did not know there was a 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Did
Obviously.
you know?
Mhm.
Sorry, go on. Finish your sentence. I'm going to tell you a fact, a butterfly effect.
Ooh. So like they couldn't get the returning cast, obviously, because spoilers, the actor was unable to go to the next movie due to the storyline, but they just got a whole new cast and tried to do the same thing, which did not work.
Um,
Mm. What do you got?
I was going to talk about spoilers anyway because if you haven't seen Butterfly Effect, I mean, go watch it. I don't think at this point it's so fucking old. You haven't watched it yet. You probably never will. Really good movie. Ashton Kutcher is probably one of his best.
Mhm.
He in the original cinematic version, they the ending is that he realizes the only way for everyone to be happy around him is for him to die. So he goes back inside the womb and kills himself as a pre-born in the womb. That's the original ending. However, if you watch Butterfly Effect on Netflix, it is the American ending, which they just released in America. Go figure. And the ending is not that at all. He goes back to when he's a kid or whatever, and he like moves away or doesn't become friends with any of them. And then way later down the road, he's walking through a street as an adult, walking through the street, and he sees Amy Smart's character. And they stop and they pause and look at each other. But in this universe, they haven't met yet. They pause and look at each other, and he goes, "Do I know you?" And that's where it ends. Like it ends on sort of like on a happier note,
Yeah.
which fucking ruins the ending. It ruins the whole point of the film. Eb and I, like, we like Butterfly Effect. We watched the original first of all, and we watched this version, and we're like, "What the fuck is happening? This isn't the ending."
Right.
Gross.
That's it's not good. Also,
Yeah.
the Amy Smart's was it brother? He plays a sadistic kid really, really well. Like where
Yes. He's
uh,
properly scary.
yeah, it's like terrifying where he's got the animals in the bag and stuff. It's like, whoa,
Yeah, that
get this
movie gives me
get this kid
goosebumps.
get this kid some help.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
The
and
movie,
like
the original cut. Make sure if you watch it wherever you watch it. I don't know how you're gonna find out prior, but make sure you watch the original cut.
yeah,
That fucking
yep.
American version was trash.
June Part 2 epic trailer teasers Paul's Dark Destiny and Christopher Walken's Empire or Emperor. So yeah, we'll see. I didn't really like the first one. I was a big fan of the June miniseries, which was like quite old, like early
Never watched that.
2000s.
Okay,
But yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
it was okay.
Tron.
It was pretty good looking.
Oh yeah, it was.
Credit
Yeah,
where it's due.
yeah. Tron. I don't know why they're still going with
Tron?
Tron. Yeah,
Really?
Tron. They couldn't revive it. Like it was a masterpiece when it first came out, but I don't
Yeah.
know, for a timepiece. But they add Evan Peters, which I believe is the guy from
Tim Peter Evans.
Evan Peters. It says Evan Peters.
Okay, I was picturing the Australian Peter Evans.
No, isn't this is a dude from American Horror Story? Yeah,
Oh, he's amazing.
yeah. So they're
Yeah,
adding
he's
him.
fantastic.
Yep.
To what? Sorry, to
The
June.
Tron.
Oh, to Tron.
Mm,
Got distracted.
yeah.
Yeah, right. He's fantastic. He's one of our Eb and I's favorite actors at the moment.
There you go. Well,
He's real good.
he's joining Tron. We've also got Five Night at Freddy's. We've got the
Mm-hmm.
new trailer for that.
Did
I
watch
know,
that. Yep.
I know nothing about Five Night at Freddy's. I have downloaded the
Weren't you gonna
first
play at
game.
one point?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I still am. I just haven't got around to it. So we'll see.
Yeah. There's a lot of things to play. Yeah,
So,
it's got Peter from I didn't realize Peter, whatever I forget the actor's name, but Peter from Hunger Games is
oh
like the
yeah,
main guy.
nice. And we've also got
Looks interesting.
Okay, get
Oh,
around it.
except,
Ooh.
sorry, in the trailer, I couldn't tell if the animatronics were in fact animatronic or if they were CGI. If they have any CGI robot monster things, it is a fucking wasted opportunity. This movie is literally about animatronic robot bears that are meant to be like, old and destroyed and whatever. There is no more perfect film out there to actually make the animatronics and have them be animatronic.
Okay, I know nothing
If they
about
don't,
it.
if they do CGI, I'm really upset. Is my
Okay.
point.
Okay.
I feel like it's a waste opportunity, and it's proving that they would care more about money than they do about the art,
Gotcha.
which we know anyway. But
We've got actor Julian Sands dies at 65. I don't know what he was in. He was
that was the
in
actor I was talking about earlier. Who was the other one you said died?
Julian Sands died, and also Alan Arkins dies at 89. Yep.
Oh yeah, Alan Arkin. I did see both of these.
Yeah. So he
Yeah,
was
Julian Sands is one. I have no idea who he is. Alan Arkin, I
Julian
recognize.
Sands was in Oxford Blues, The Killing Fields, Room with a View, Warwick.
Other things I've seen.
Warlock Armageddon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, don't know him.
yeah, he did some work on Stargate SG-1 as well. So
Sure.
I like
Okay.
Stargate. But yeah, that is it for the movie news. A little bit quiet on the old movie fronts. I have seen lots of movie news that Disney is tanking at the moment. Like all their newest films
Oh really?
are bringing in a big loss besides Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Like they're looking at
Sure.
a huge loss. I don't know what the numbers was, but I know they shelled out a couple of billion for the movies and they're only getting a couple of million back. So
Yeah, right. Okay. Shit.
yeah,
Now it's time to buy some Disney shares
I think it's going to
while
tank.
they're low.
I think it's going to tank harder than this. Let's see how they
Yeah.
go. So maybe hold off on those shares, but we'll
Yeah.
see. Yeah. Let's get into is it cake? So this one is your pick.
Is it cake?
I'm
Sorry.
gonna I'm gonna let you do the honors for this one.
Oh, sure. Okay. So straight from IMDb as usual, skilled cake artists create mouth-watering replicas of handbags, sewing machines, and more in a mind-bending baking contest inspired by a popular meme. I'm not sure what meme they're referring to, but um, yeah, it's a contestant show. I've got the contestants behind me from season two. It's literally they come in, they try and bake cakes to look like replicas of real life items. They get in three guest judges. The judges try and guess the cake. If they get the cake right, then the contestant's up for elimination. If they don't guess the cake, then the contestant wins money and whatever. More or less. It's changed a lot, the format from season one to season two. In
Oh,
season
really?
one, there were no eliminations. Season one was basically there was a winner every week. And then at the end, the last few episodes, they had one winner. It was really weird. There was no like eliminations. In the third last episode, the three people baked, or four, five, I forget what it was. Five people, doesn't matter. People baked, and there was one winner. That winner went through to the final, and they repeated that process. So there wasn't necessarily eliminations. There was a winner picked who went through to the final. This now presents very similar to a lot of the other reality shows that I really enjoy, like Blown Away and Lego Masters and um, Next in Fashion, all that sort of stuff, where every week someone's eliminated who's like the weakest of the group or whatever. I like the new format. I think that was one of my biggest problems with the first season was that the format was fucking dumb and it really made no sense and didn't necessarily get the best artists. Uh, but yeah, I love this show. I hate it and I love it. It is trash in all the best ways to me. When we first watched it, we put it on as a gag because we wanted background noise. But then once you sit there and you actually start watching it, and like we sit there the whole time and just insult everyone and like just get angry at Mikey Day, who's the host, and he's so awkward and shit. I'm really surprised they got him back for season two, but I guess that's part of the charm. I'm glad he's back because I like how shit he is and how awkward he is. It kind of adds to the awkwardness of the whole show. Um, the contestants are fine. There's one woman who has like she's a famous baker. She has like books and stuff. And I'm kind of annoyed she's on the show because she already has a baking empire. I looked up her net worth. She has like a net worth of $8 million. Like she's already successful in the cake world. Why is she on the show against like average Joes and 21-year-olds? How much did you watch, by the way?
I watched two episodes and a bit of the third one, but I didn't really
Doing a
pay
bit of third.
attention to the third.
That's fair. I understand. We'll get to that in a sec. But yeah, it's not good. It's not good TV, but it's like it's such an easy watch. We always like end up going on our phones while it's on and just looking up every now and then. And it's not like a show you'd sit there and watch the entire time. Maybe if you had kids, I don't really know, but you can please share more on that. But yeah, it's bad. The editing's really bad. The sound mixing's horrible. Some scenes are really loud. Some scenes are really quiet. Um, the host is awkward. Um, there's like really obvious gags, like he's wheeling around on a seat. And I was like, oh my god, okay, he's gonna fall off that seat in a second, like slapstick moment. And then he did, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm impressed. And then literally the next time you see him on the seat, he falls off. I'm like, okay, this show's like predictable and stupid, and it's very like American comedy. But I still have such a fun time with it. So that's more or less where I'm at now. I got more to say after, but I want to hear the Ryman's review of
All right.
Is It Cake
Yeah.
2.
So,
Go.
all right, I'll rant for a little bit. So, Is It Cake season 2? Not my first experience. I saw bits and pieces of season 1. My wife and kids watched it. So this goes. Each episode's about 40 minutes, 45 minutes. This is the breakdown of what I liked. I liked the introduction. I like the contestants have to pick Is It Cake at the start, and whatever the host is, he is unbelievably terrible. Like he
Yes.
was it. See, I was like episode 2 where they were doing gym equipment, and it was like the punching bags, and then he got
Oh
the
yeah.
knuckle dusters out, and he was like punching cake. And I was like, oh wow, like it is so bad that the intros are good.
It's so awkward.
But then I like the ending. So I like the end of the episode. I like the start and the end of the episode. So I'd like to see what they create, because the people make these unbelievable cakes. Like they are undeniably talented with what they can create. Like it's very, very hard to pick which one is cake and what's not cake. Like
Sometimes.
like what they can create is absolutely mind-boggling. But what I don't like, I thought the contestants were boring. Like everyone is too nice. If I am watching these, if I'm watching these reality TV shows, I want an underdog that I'm like rooting for. Like I want a sob story. I want an overcocky, overbearing like villain of the show.
Oh, you want the cliches.
I want the cliches. Like if I'm watching
Right.
Survivor, if I'm watching whatever it is, I want the conflict of the contestants. I want competition. I want something. I want to be able to like root for someone to win. Where everyone on here is like, oh yeah, you're doing really good. I'm doing a beer batter cake. I'm doing a chocolate cake. Hooray! Like they're too.
That is modern competitive shows though. Like Next in Fashion, Blown Away, all the modern shows coming out on Netflix, they don't add conflict. They don't have that high string tension moments. They intentionally put people on there who get along.
No, I want that. Like that's why we banned ourselves from like Married at First Sight, because there's so many episodes, but there's so much drama in it that we just get hooked by it. Like it's got the villains. Like I want to see the drama. Like drama sells reality TV shows for me. Like Geordie Shore.
Interesting.
Like I get around that because they have all the drama, and because they feed them copious amount of like alcohol. Like there's going to be drama. There's going to be silliness. Like even MasterChef used to have the competitiveness. Like there used to be, I'm going to be the best. And I just don't want everyone to be nice and be like, oh, you're doing such a good job. Like be cocky, be arrogant. Like there used to be, I think one of them stole like all the ingredients or something in one of the shows. I can't remember what it was, but my reference to this one is like, I prefer Nailed It, because everyone on there is just like ridiculous, to the point where they're just like, they have the freeze button where they can stitch other people up. Like it's just, there's got to be another level for me to
There's
like
mechanics in the show to make them compete.
Yeah, like I just want more urgency, because I like the intro, I like the outro, but everything in the middle was like, I don't care. You could have cut this down to an introduction and an outro and be done in 10 minutes, and I would have been just as satisfied. Where I had to sit there for 40 minutes with this middle part where I didn't care about. But there was some interesting parts where they were making it, and I was like, oh, that's an interesting way to do it. They were making like something out of paper at one stage, like edible paper or something. Like it's interesting, but it's so dragged out that I'm like, I don't care. Like, what can I do to in this time have conflict, have these characters be like, I don't care if they're cliche, put them in there. Like I like Survivor, where you've got someone who's like manipulating, like forge alliances or something. Like I would have liked it if they could join. All of a sudden, someone just left their project, joined another person, and then they were like creating it together to like stitch this one person up. Like just, I want the drama.
Right. Whereas I'm the total opposite. I will intentionally stop watching shows when they try to add drama because that's not really that human to me. People like this is people, this is real people thrown together in a pretty real situation. Like they're going to be nice to each other, almost to a toxic level. Um, I don't know. I don't like when they add the drama. Like, I used to love, oh my God, there's a tattoo show,
I-
competitive reality tattoo
Ink
show,
Masters.
Ink Masters. Good call. And yeah, that show they intentionally added all this drama. Like, yes, the tattoo industry is sort of filled with drama anyway, and there's a lot of competitiveness that I'm better than you and whatever. But they used to intentionally like add the strings in the background and add all this drama on top of things that weren't really that big of a deal. I like this heartwarming stuff. Like this. That's why I keep bringing up Next in Fashion and Blown Away. They're two Netflix shows that are very similar to this. They don't add drama. There's people that you like, people you don't like. But I like being able to make my own decisions on who I like and who I don't like, rather than the show telling me this person is annoying, this person's too dramatic, this person's a nice one. Like I would rather choose myself who in this crowd of people I would get along with in real life. That's to me more enjoyable.
Nah, even like
Yeah.
Beauty and the Geek, I loved it. Where they were like we well friends know contestants have been on that show, and like
Mm-hmm.
the editors, well, they force you to see what they want to see. Like
Yes.
that, like I don't mind it. Like you're signing up for these shows. I want to be entertained. Them all getting along is not entertaining for me. I want to watch the drama.
Okay. Yep.
That's
I
what I
suppose
want
how
to see.
we enjoy TV differently for that reason. Like I don't care about that. I don't want drama in these sort of shows. I just want to watch cake. And actually,
Yeah.
that's probably one of my things. I wish there was more of that middle part or more detail. Not more. I think it's long enough. But I wish, like, one thing that I in Blown Away is because it's glass blowing. I learned so much about glass blowing. I learned so much about the different techniques, what things are called, and how things work. Whereas this show, they sort of glance over names and like, oh, I'm using this effect and this and this. They don't really show you how things are done. I wish there was more like education about baking in this, personally.
Yeah. Nah, I would have preferred just 10 minutes of here's the people. This is what you is it cake? Have a guess. This is what I created. I would have been fine with that. 10
Oh
minutes in
shit.
and out. The rest of the
Very
time,
interesting.
that half an hour in the middle, it's like, all right, let's move on. To the point where I was like, can I watch this in like double time? Can I watch it in sped up?
There's not half an hour in the middle. There's probably 15, 20 minutes. It might feel longer, but it's not. Like the end part with the judges is way longer than you think it is. That's like 15 minutes on its own.
There you go. That felt way shorter though when they get the
Yeah.
judges on. But,
And they're actually getting like actual judges this year. Last year, or last season, I should say, not last year, but last season, they had a bunch of like random people from like TikTok and they tried making them sound like celebrities, but they really weren't. Whereas this season, they actually have like actual actors and actual like comedians and stuff.
right,
Actually
yeah,
known people in this season.
they got Jeff Winger from Community
Yeah, we
for
were talking about last week.
yeah,
Neil McHale.
yeah, and he was like, I can taste the protein powder in a good
Hmm.
way, right?
It's like, yep, sure.
Yep.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I still had a good time.
Yeah, yeah.
How funny the guy, spoilers, I suppose, if you care about the first episode, the guy's eliminated first. Ed pointed out he looks exactly like Daniel Radcliffe in Weird Al story.
Okay. Does
Can you
he?
see him? Can you pick this guy? Look,
Oh yeah,
maybe you can't.
yeah. I can see him in your
Yeah.
background. Yeah.
So yeah, to wrap up, it's terrible. It's really poorly made. You can tell the editors don't care. The music is generic and shit. They use the same music from the season one. Um, it's kind of weird and awkward in a lot of places. That's kind of why I love it because it's trash. I enjoy it. Eb and I the whole time just pay out Mikey Day because he's such a bad host. But he thinks he's hilarious, and the way that the contestants all laugh. They laugh at everything he does. But I also don't know how much of that is like in editing. Like they might just they might not laugh that much, but they just use them laughing from another track to replace laughter in that track. I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like
Probably.
it's an awkward laugh. Like if you're in that situation, you kind of laugh because
You
it's
kind of have to.
extremely awkward.
And they'd be like fair. They'd be told like we want you to laugh everything he does. We want you to be over the top. Like kind of like when Princey was on Deal or No Deal, he was saying like you had to act up. One of our mates, for those who are listening, was on Deal or No Deal, and he got to TV because they told him you had to act big, you had to play it up, you had to be larger than life to make it.
Yep.
So I guess they're told similar stuff here, but yeah. Um, Rating's hard. This is similar to how I'm gonna feel with 2025 Armageddon because it's bad, but like, is to me it's bad enough that it's good. I enjoy it. Is it a good show? No. Like in terms of how it's been made, it's like a 1.5. There's nothing special about it. They're in one room the entire time. There's nothing clever with how it's made. It's very basic and very cheap. But entertainment value, this to me is like a 3.5. I I would recommend it to people I speak to who I talk about this sort of stuff with. I would say you should go watch it because it's fun. It's bad, but it's fun, and that to me is enough to recommend it. So, entertainment value 3.5.
Wow. All right. So that's so generous. For me, this show's it's a 1, but because I enjoyed the intros and I enjoyed the outros, I'll give it a 2. I'll give it a 2 because I like the awkwardness. I like the impressive cake making. The rest of it, I could not care about. I need that competitiveness. I need the villain. I
Mm-hmm.
need the underdog. It needs something because, like,
Yeah.
for a show that's 40 minutes, to be on my phone for 20 minutes of it or half of it, like,
Yeah.
is you got to like you got to have something else. Like, nailed it. I really enjoy because they've got those like insert like what is it tropes to be able to free someone or get help from a massive
Yeah.
judge, and they're just making rubbish. Like
I couldn't stand the host in that.
you get the backstory of the people, and they're like, I'm a amateur baker, and you just see what they're trying to make. They like reveal the really well made thing, and then they just
Yeah.
put this. It's kind of like my drawings on stream. Like,
Yes. They're
yeah,
meant to look like shit.
yeah, that's like
I
I
got so
enjoyed
bored of
that.
that.
Oh, I loved it.
Did
It's
you
like
watch Is it K Cologne?
no,
You watch it with the family. Was it fun when you're like, because Eb and I sit there and they bring it out and they're like, we watch it, we go, okay, I think number 2, I think number 4, I think number 5. Like
yeah,
it's fun to watch it and make our own guesses of which one's cake and like, oh, I can't tell. What do you think? Like, oh, I think that one has like a bit more thing at the bottom, and that's where I find fun. Did you do that with the family? Like,
yeah, but
you,
it still doesn't save the show.
fair, fair,
It's it's like watching Wheel of Fortune or something, going, oh, I know the answer.
yeah,
But, yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
It's enjoyable for me.
I still don't like Wheel of Fortune. But yeah.
I used to love Jeopardy.
Nah. Is Jeopardy the one where you got to ask the questions? Like they
You
give you
answer with a
the
question. Yeah.
yeah, that
What is
confuses me.
Timbuktu?
I hate it. How
Mm.
I just don't get it. Do they give you the answer and then you got to ask it in a question, or do they give you a question and you got to answer it in a question?
They give you like a fact. Like they'll say, this actor was in the first Indiana Jones, but not the second. And you'll say, who is Michael?
Yeah.
So they'll give you like an answer, I guess, and you got to say whatever. That's the sort of. Anyway, Jeopardy, guys.
No, don't like it.
Jeopardy's great.
Nope. Nope. Nope.
Yeah, no, different strokes.
Avoid it.
Don't watch this alone. I would say on your own, it's boring. With a partner or a friend or kids, it's entertaining. My opinion.
Watch
The
Nailed It
end.
instead.
No, now it's boring.
No, Nailed It's way better. The Flash. Let's get into it. I know you're excited for this one with the DC universe.
Mm.
So we won't go into all the controversy that is surrounding the film and the main actor, which I am surprised that the film has actually come out because there was
I don't know the controversy.
um Yeah, there's all
Is it
sorts of
worth entertaining?
it's probably out of our scope to be talking about, but it's uh it's pretty
Is he
heavy.
abusive? Is he a kiddie fiddler? Like, what level of controversy are we talking about here?
Yeah, around those two.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's just yeah, whatever. So this is Barry Allen uses his super speed to change the past, but his attempts to save his family create a world without superheroes, forcing him to race for his life in order to save the future. So I don't really like the Flash as a hero. I've never really got around him. The TV series is better than I thought it was going to be. So this sort of revolves around the same story. So Barry is the Flash, as we know. He gets struck by lightning and he is able to run really, really fast. And this is, I forgot exactly what time they are trying to do this, but there is reference to the Justice League in there. So we do get to see
Hmm.
Batman. We do see a version of Superman, and also Wonder Woman makes an appearance in here. So this is all Barry's whole the whole thing is Barry is able to run super fast. He's able to go into the time force and he's able to manipulate time to he wants to save his mother, and his mother dies, and his father is framed for the murder of his mother.
Not framed. He's not framed. No one
Well,
plants evidence or anything. He's just accused.
he's accused. He's Yeah, I guess so. But there's a little bit of backstory if the TV show sort of is part of canon of this. I don't know. I don't know if this is one of those standalone movies where it comes in, it wants to tie into the movie verse, or if the TV shows tie in. I don't know. I'm not overly invested into the DC, I guess, canon lore because they're not as good or as fluid as the Marvel one is. So Barry is able to run really quick. There is this
Uh,
weird opening scene where he's showing off his powers. It felt really cheesy where he's saving the babies. He puts a baby in a microwave and
yeah.
like gives it to the nurse. Like
I hated that cold opening. I
it's
cringed so hard, the majority of it. The
it was
lines as well.
it
Like, I
was
think,
tough.
yeah.
So it doesn't
It was
open
weird
well.
because they took, sorry, just while we're on the opening, it's sort of a tone, there's a weird tonal confusion because, like, there are moments where they're having a lot of fun with it and it feels like X-Men. Why I like X-Men, I should say, is because X-Men I don't think takes itself too seriously, besides the third, which is a joke. And they have fun with X-Men. Whereas this at times they felt like they're having fun with it and it was just like comical and whatever. And then there were times where they were trying to deliver these like really serious and like badass in quotes lines, but they're just fucking cringy and gross.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So this is a mixture of a film, so it's a bit of a mixed bag. There are parts that I quite enjoyed, and there are parts where it was just blatantly
yeah,
terrible. So,
same.
like, it was so
Went over
bizarre.
the same parts.
So the cold opening, terrible. This is it.
Hmm.
It does not start strong. Then we
Nope.
get to see Barry in his timeline. So we are jumping around to different timelines or different alternative,
Hmm.
well, because he is going to
Parallel
change. Yeah.
universes. Yeah.
So I liked the interactions with Batman. So I was surprised to see Ben Affleck to do like reprise his role as Batman because he's actually uncredited, which is
Yeah.
weird. So I was like, oh, I thought Michael Keaton was in there, but he comes in later. So
Hmm.
when Barry goes and manipulates time, he's coming in. I like the different renditions of Batman as well. So
Same.
I like the older Batman who's kind of like, sort of given up, like past his
Hmm.
prime.
Yeah.
I liked all of that. I liked the introduction of the new like Superman, or like when they rescue the Kal-El.
Yeah.
I quite
Whatever her
liked
name is.
the aggressiveness of that version of Superman. Like
Hmm.
normally Superman's just your goody two shoes, like good guy, clean cut.
Yeah.
But I like the
Yeah.
aggression. I like the aggression. I like that. What's it called? It's just mainly aggression because
Yeah.
Superman
I
is,
liked her far more than I've ever liked any Superman.
yeah,
Superman's such a boring character.
like so aggressive, wants to
She
be
was
a
like a bit
badass.
more emo and edgy. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But then we have those little interactions. But then once we are introduced to the other Barry, my God, is it bad? So Barry
Wow. Okay.
Barry
Keep going.
Barry interacts with the other version of himself. So when he goes back into his parallel universe, he
Yep.
is able to interact with his mother and father, but then realizes that there is still another Barry, and that other Barry is he's just a slacker, or I don't know what exactly they were going for with Barry being like just your I don't know what stereotypical sort of version
Yeah.
they were
He's like,
going
he's a
for.
teenager. He's just a bit of a dropkick. And I like that. I'll let you talk more about it because it's interesting that the parts, anyway, I'll get into it now. Um, yeah, they just want to show like this is how he would have turned out if his mama had survived. The reason that he became so determined and so headstrong and independent and whatever is because at a young age, his dad was incarcerated for his mother's death and he lost both of them. And he had to be this very mature and independent young man. Whereas once they both survive and he just goes through the motions of being a teenager, at 18, he's just a bit of a dropkick, a bit of a shit. And I really like that difference in the two characters, in the two different Barrys.
I couldn't stand that Barry though. Like
The point.
no,
It's
like
meant to be annoying.
the young Barry, like the kid Barry, with the interactions we get with him and the mother, which is brief, we don't see him as that sort of just drop kick kid. Like he seems to be at least reasonably
No,
switched
but
on. No,
yeah,
no,
but dropkick teenagers aren't necessarily dropkick kids.
no, I don't know. I hated it. I couldn't stand it. Anytime he was on scene, it's just it grinds my gears. Like he was just incompetent of anything. Like he's just
It's the point.
no,
He was meant to be.
no.
They made
Like
you feel what you're meant to feel.
he would at least have he'd be at least a reasonable human. He's so annoying. He just makes random noises. Like, what are you doing, dude? Like, read
He's
a
an
book.
18-year-old.
No, I remember being an 18-year-old and I could tie my shoes. This kid couldn't tie his shoes. He's hopeless.
He didn't do his own
Hopeless.
laundry. I did when I was 18. I did when I was 18 because I lived out of home by then. Um, I don't know. You know what? I'm gonna get into uh my sort of because you said there were parts you liked, parts you didn't. I was the complete opposite. I hated Act One. Everything up until he was stuck in the alternate universe was boring as shit. And then everything from I wrote down the 140-minute mark where it just turns into another action blockbuster, and then we got the whole end climax Act Three was boring as shit. The whole Act Two, I had a fucking really good time. I was way more into it than I thought I was going to be. I was very surprised. The whole section with mature Barry trying to teach young Barry how to use his powers and them trying to navigate like what do we do here? How do we figure this out? Trying to find Batman, talking to Batman. I found all those interactions great. I really liked Dumb Barry. And I found Act Two was actually a pretty cohesive, fun movie. If that was what the movie was, without all the dumb action scenes and badass line deliveries, I would actually recommend this to people. The end ruins it, the start ruins it. The part you didn't like in the middle was the part I actually got a lot of entertainment out of.
Yeah,
I liked it.
couldn't stand it.
Wow.
Could not stand the other Barry. Also with the like time travel or alternate dimension stuff, you're not meant to
Hmm.
interact with yourself. Like
I
you
know.
just the time travel thing was annoying. You're not meant to interact. Like I
Yep.
know there's canon events and all that. Like
Yep.
those events need to happen. Oh God, he was
And
just
there's different rules. Like
yeah.
different time travel things and different rules. They didn't set up here they can't meet each other, which is fine. But I'll get to the end later. But they set up a whole bunch of rules in this that they totally just destroy and ignore at the end. Time travel's a touchy thing. We've discussed it before, but if you're gonna set rules, you need to stick to those rules.
Yep. But there's different versions of Flash as well. Like you could have had the Reverse Flash. There's all these different ones that could have come in. Where I hated the part where Barry lost his powers and had to teach the other Barry how to use the powers. It's just
Liked it.
No. I would have just liked it if all of a sudden that Barry instead had died and then he takes that place of Barry.
You would have liked it if it was another generic fucking action movie where the good guy is the good guy the whole way through and he does great things, and then at the end there's a climax.
Probably, yeah.
Aren't you sick of watching the same thing? I like the middle because it gave us. I know nothing about the Flash. I didn't know he could go through walls. I didn't know he could. I knew he could go through time, sort of, but not at this level. There's a few things here I didn't know about the Flash. I had no idea about his origin story. I didn't know he got electrocuted or hit by lightning. I didn't know all that. So this was cool because it was sort of an origin story, but not really an origin story. And I liked that he was able to self-recognize and be like, oh my God, I'm annoying. And like he saw a lot of, because it's him at a younger age, but also with different upbringing, he could see a lot of those traits in himself and be like, oh, okay, I am annoying. People don't like me. Like there's a reason for this. I think the things that you said you're frustrated and annoyed by were like intentional. How can you dislike it for that?
Because they were intentionally bad. Okay. It's not enjoyable. I want a superhero to be a superhero, and I want an alternative, random, useless hero. Like, don't give me a hero. Give me a massive villain that he needs to save the day with.
Which we sort of got, but the villain didn't do a whole lot. It's a dumb villain.
You need a villain to be over, like you need to be intimidating. You need to be massive, and that's what like Marvel do so well at. They give you the villain that's ridiculous. Like he's just so overpowered.
And a villain that you can sort of understand, like Thanos's whole think he's doing the right thing by doing bad things. Yeah.
That's what you need. That's what the whole superhero genre needs.
Yeah, I like that this was different. This is a bit more grounded for me because it was less about a big bad guy and more about his own little problems. Him trying to fix his life rather than this grand big destruction of the universe, which is where the end was completely ruined for me.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. It's just
interesting. Yeah, we saw the middle very differently.
And like the Flash is so overpowered. If he can just reverse time all the time, it's just breaking with the power. Like when even Superman, when he flies around the world to like go back in time, like, come on, you just let him live with choices they make. It gets real messy as soon as you start adding in like different Earths and different timelines, and it gets very, very confusing. And
let's move into Act 3 then. Yeah.
All right. Well, Act 3, they have a big showdown. So we've got the two Flashes. I kind of liked how they built the second suit where they were cutting the ears off of the Batman suit.
That was fun.
Yeah. I thought the older Batman, like getting back into his role, was quite fun. I like Michael Keaton with the return of as Batman. That was cool.
He's a favorite character, easily.
Yeah, definitely. So I also liked the new Superman, the dark, gritty Superman, where it wasn't like calculated fighting. Superman was just
Kara, Superwoman, Supergirl, what are they called?
Supergirl, like just coming in and throwing hands, like just real aggressive, like one in, one out. It was just really wild. And then the Flashes doing flashy things. I feel like you almost should have left one of the Barrys without powers when they both got powers and they're just zooming around. I don't know. It's just I never
Didn't you
felt like.
just say you would prefer if Barry didn't lose his powers in Act Two?
Yeah, I wish the other Barry didn't get powers. I wish he was like just left on the
But if he didn't
sideline.
get powers, then the future Barry wouldn't have powers. That was why you had to get him to get the powers.
I don't know. He shouldn't have lost him in the start. He should have just, as soon as he saw young Barry come across, he should have just zoomed out and just left and went away.
But he was going to, but then he was like, "There's two of us," and then they had to go and give him the powers because he wasn't going to go get the powers. It's like, "Oh shit, I have to give you the powers now.
No,
Otherwise, I won't have the powers."
no, it was a different
And he can't
timeline.
time travel.
Just leave it. Just leave it alone. He could have time traveled. He could just ran around. Like when he was there, he had powers. When he first got there,
I know, but if
he
Barry didn't get electrocuted by going to the university he didn't work at
that
because it's a
Barry.
different Barry.
Yeah, but he knew it was a different timeline because there was two of
Well,
them.
no, at that point, he thought that time was linear. And you're right, because we find out later that if you affect a point in time, and the way they describe it is it's not like it's a branch of a tree, it's more like an X, where you if you affect a point in time, you also affect the past. So it's a different timeline. So yes, he probably didn't need to go give Barry the powers, but I don't even think the movie knew that. I think that's something we deciphered because we are smarter than the movie.
Okay. All right. I don't know. Like,
It ended shit. The
yeah,
whole Act Three was just a boring, barren, flat CGI fucking Minecraft flat world with a bunch of tanks and a bunch of explosions going off and some bad guys. Things happened, explosions happened, Supergirl died, then the new Flash, young Barry, wants to save her for reasons unknown. I think he likes her or some shit. Um, and he keeps rewinding time, trying to do the same thing over and over again where he has to save her. And he can't. And older Barry is like, this is one of those moments in time that we cannot change. These are one of those. It's kind of like the canon moment in fucking Spider-Man. Um, and it became a mess, and they ruined their own rules. They were saying how if you go back in time, and you change a moment, then it changes the past, and everything's different. And yet he went back how many fucking times, and nothing was different. Batman should have been different. People should have all been different. It should be 1,000 fucking changes. And then it all just they reach this big climax where they're in like the fucking alternate universe, like in between world thing where they fight their own Barry, and then young Barry dies.
yeah.
Young Barry
So,
dies.
so
Yeah,
there was a point
it
where
was.
they kept going back, and then old mate, one of the versions of the Flash was doing it as well, and was like, "I've been trying to do it this whole time." And then he's real aggressive, like either he's just insane or he's
Mhm.
like stuck in this time loop and just wants to get out. Which it was a weird reveal, and it was just I don't know. I didn't like
Yeah.
that part, but I did like the end where Batman is like, "I'm here." And he's like, "Who are you?" It was
Oh,
like,
George Clooney.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was like a
Yeah.
different Batman.
Again, because that was when it was grounded again. I still don't understand how giving his mum a can of tomatoes when he was a young child saved his mum's life. Did you pick that up? Because that was the whole thing. He put can of tomatoes in her trolley, and that's what saved her life. And that was the moment that keeps her alive later.
I can't remember exactly, but it's like she forgot the can of tomatoes and then had to go back to the shop or something or other. I can't remember.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the kid wasn't that young. Like if it was the same day, then dad had to go out because I thought it was mum didn't get the tomatoes, dad had to go out and get the tomatoes. While dad was out getting the tomatoes, the mum was killed. But
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
kid in the trolley is a very different age to the kid that we saw in that flashback. Like, did she buy these tomatoes 2 years prior?
I
I was
don't
very
know. Can't
confused.
remember. I'd lost a lot of interest by then. And then he sets the tomatoes up so that dad can be seen on the camera.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, now he's free. Oh, that was a touching moment between the
Yeah.
dad and Barry in the court scene.
Because it was grounded. Yep.
Yeah. And then the rest of it, like it was so bizarre. I'd go from hating the movie to like, oh, that was pretty good, and then hating it again. Like, it was such a mixed bag. I don't know how I feel about the movie.
Yeah.
It was
Similar.
it was odd. I just
Yeah. I feel like that's the same for me, even though we enjoyed different moments. Like I hated, like I said, I hated the ending, I hated the middle. Sorry, I hated the start. I liked the middle. Um, it's hard. Like I enjoyed this more than I thought I was going to, but there was still so many moments where I'm like, this is what I was expecting. Just CGI bullshit. And it looked fucking awful. Some of
yeah.
the CGI faces that they had to do, it looked some of it looked genuinely terrible. And I know I watched this big thing the other day from someone who works for a CGI company in America, and they're talking about how when people like Disney want to make a CGI movie, they put out saying we want this many things made, this many frames, who can do it, and then all the CGI companies put in a bid, and they put a bid in for how much they can do it for, and basically the cheapest one wins. So that means that when they get the job, they already have a very short budget. And people like DC, who are really trying to cut costs, they will take the cheapest, not the best. And they'll overwork their CGI development, which means they get trash like this. No one's putting any heart into it, and it looks fucking horrible. It looks really, really bad. The first Lord of the Rings look better than this since 2001.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
also couldn't understand why Barry's father was like in jail, because they said that they proved that Barry's father wasn't at home during the time of the murder. Like, why was he
But they didn't.
incarcerated? Yeah, but they said he was out. They had the bank statement, and they had there was something else to prove that he wasn't actually home.
That's why they had
Why?
to have the security footage of the tomato looking up high to prove that he was at the
Yeah,
shop,
but did he pay
didn't they?
cash and say no to a receipt? Like, did the person at the
I do.
store say no? Yeah, but like all stores have CC footage and stuff. Like, there's
Well, that's why they said it was up until now the footage was corrupt, but now it's been re-edited and we can clearly see that my client, that's how they presented it at the end, like there was some bullshit. Oh no, the footage you couldn't tell it was him because it was corrupt and looked like crap. But
I don't know. I don't know.
yeah, there's a lot of
Whatever.
like little convenient plot devices thrown in. Yeah, look, not good, not
No.
good in a lot of ways. Better than I thought, but still not good. I'm happy to give it like a 2. I
Yeah.
again liked it more than I thought, but it still was just fodder, CGI bullshit. Didn't need to exist. The end. You?
Yeah, I agree. It's about a 2. It's definitely killed they had a number of DC projects lined up. There was like future Batman and stuff that was
Mm-hmm.
in the works, which all rested on the Flash being successful. But I know based off TikToks and stuff, people are boycotting the movie just due to the main actor. So
Sure.
like people refuse to even like watch it, look at it, and put money towards it just based off of
Right.
the
Well,
actor.
I'm
So
glad that I watched it online for free.
yeah,
I'm happy
so
to admit that. I would never pay for this. Jesus.
yeah, well, because we did watch it online, there was this weird part where it turned to
French
yeah,
twice.
it was so weird. I don't know why, I just did.
It's super
But
weird.
but let's move on to 2025 Armageddon. So
Mm-hmm.
another movie that at least this one doesn't pretend that it's going to be good. And I'm sure this is one that doesn't have a massive budget for CGI.
Oh no. I think it's
So
any budget.
a milliant alien race launches
Militant.
nope launches an attack on Earth using gigantic creatures and geological disasters, all based on those found on the Asylum movie channel Signal, which reached their planet. My God,
That
this
points out the plot twist. We don't know that it's aliens doing that until like an hour into the movie. I never
Yeah,
realized that the synopsis pretty much points out the fucking entire plot.
yeah, the entire plot. It
Literally.
was this. I was all right. So we've watched how many Asylum films have we watched now? One, two.
This is our second or our third. I don't know. I watched them in my own time as well,
Yeah,
so I forget
I've seen bits
what
and
we
pieces.
reviewed.
So I like that it was self-aware, but I think
Hmm.
it bit off more than it could chew.
Yeah,
So I really like it when they are parroting a a movie franchise. So like
yeah.
the Jurassic Park one and whatever.
Snakes on a train.
Yeah, like those ones are really fun, very self-aware. This is self-aware, but because there is like a montage of all the monsters coming in, like they tried to pay homage to everything, which was too much. They never
Yes,
they never spent time with enough of the monsters.
yes. They're almost parodying themselves, which
Yeah.
is like literally the first scene, the first joke in this movie, or the first entire scene, is an old woman giving her grandchildren snakes on a train, thinking she had bought them snakes on a plane. And
Yeah.
that is their entire business model. People accidentally buying this movie instead of the original. And like you're pointing that out in the first scene, like, okay. I laughed, but also like, what the fuck?
Yeah, so they set up, they're self-aware. The the first hour was kind of tough. Like there were moments where I was like, that's really cool, that's funny. The acting, is not going to be good.
Hmm.
Where at least the other ones are comical. It didn't get really
Yeah,
comical for me until the aliens got introduced, and that
yeah,
was
I
that was
agree.
like the pretty much towards the end of Act Two and all of
Last
Act
like 20
Three.
minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I totally agree. This I was expecting because the asylum films, like we say, they're just so ridiculous that they're fun. Whereas like the majority of this was just people in a room talking for like the whole, like you said, the first hour. I fell asleep. I slept through the last half an hour, and I was like, I better go back and watch it. I'm glad I did because, like you say, the last like 20 minutes, once the aliens are finally introduced, and we've got like these zombie people running around with their hands forward, and um, that's when it finally became fun. But like the majority of this was really boring and uneventful.
yeah, like I don't know if they were trying to like just be too, I don't know, serious really for the first part. They were trying to set up while these things were happening, trying to
Yeah.
show these people dealing with the disasters that these monsters are doing. But really, we should have had the aliens in earlier and had the people dealing with the aliens and the monsters at the same time, because that's when it got
Hmm.
fun. So we had like koalas dropping in and like ripping people apart, like very poorly done. We had
Yeah.
very poor mind control possessing, like you said, just that
Hmm.
person running and like putting a hand up with this
Yeah.
terrible stock green screen, like off of YouTube, whatever it
Hmm.
is. And
Hmm.
then like just the absurdness, like when the what's her name? Was it Dr. Ramsey or whoever the main action lead is? The lady where she's in the actual alien spaceship and she's on the
Oh
walkie-talkie
yeah, yeah.
and
That's Quinn. Yeah.
they're having a conversation, but the aliens they're like a meter away. Like the walkie-talkie and her
Yeah.
voice are not going to be silent. Like it was ridiculous how close they were, and they're like, "Oh, you finished your conversation." Like you can see the actors in the alien suits,
Hmm.
like looking around, seeing when they actually need to do something, and then they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh,
Waiting for their lines.
lines are delivered now. Go." Like
Yeah. Yeah. Here's my cue.
that's what I wanted. Unfortunately, it's just
Hmm.
there's only about the intro is kind of nicely self-aware, and then
Hmm.
it's kind of like the is it cake where the intro and the ending are really good, but the middle's got
Everything in the middle.
it's got nothing, which is
Yeah,
disappointing.
I do agree. This was a lot less fun than I thought it was going to be for the majority of it. There's so many moments where I kept a tally. Um, then I got then I fell asleep and I stopped keeping a tally. But it was mainly the beginning. So many moments of people looking out the windows describing what they see. It's like, oh my god, look at that giant shark. Oh, I can't believe. Oh, look at it's flying. Look at those drones flying over, and we wouldn't even see it. It's just people looking at a window describing what supposedly they're seeing. Um, so many moments. I wrote, Jesus Christ, please give me a long shot. They for the majority of the film was everything was filmed either a close up or a medium close, like pretty much shoulders up the entire time. I had no idea where people were in relation to each other for so much of it. Like they would look around the room and they look to their left and they're talking to someone, they look to their right talking to someone, and then the person they're talking to on the left is now on their right. Like it's so poorly made, but that's kind of what we're used to. Um, but yeah, it's boring. Like it's not what I wanted from an asylum film. When I saw this and knew that it was their 25th anniversary movie, the whole idea of it being it's bringing all their IPs, in air quotes, because it's not really independent properties, but bringing all their sort of original monsters and stuff together. I thought it was going to be like hilarious balls to the wall fun the entire time, but it was not the vast majority.
Yeah,
Um,
they kept their scenes to a minimum as well. So like all their
yeah,
actual locations, I think they didn't do long shots because they had one or three walls that they had to do
yes,
every shot in, and then they were like,
100%.
"Oh, let's move. Here's the spaceship, and we've only got another three walls." It was like we've got eight walls in total, and this is all we can use. We've got a lounge room with like two walls. We've got
Hmm.
the office, and we've got the office with the window, which we're going to use consistently, and then we've got the
Yep,
spaceship, and that's it. They're the only ones we're allowed
pretty
to.
much. Or like an office. A lot of the conversations happened in like there was one room that was it was when the two sisters were talking when they were growing up. And it was like a kitchen with like a couch in it. It looked like it could even be like the Teamsters room for the crew and the cast to have their food. Like it yeah, it was dumb, but not entertaining enough. Which is
No,
disappointing. There's a moment where they use stock footage. They're trying to like show people on a cruise ship, and they're literally like it was the nicest looking shots in the entire film because they were like high quality stock footage that they found on like Pixabay or some shit. Yeah, dude. Um, not so bad it's good, but just bad. Kind of
yeah,
kind of boring for the majority of it, which is disappointing.
yeah, it's really disappointing. But what would you give it?
Uh, Nothing worse than a boring movie. Like half. I can't even recommend this. If I was going to go watch an silent movie, I wouldn't recommend this one.
No. Yeah, it's like a one. The ending's really
Mm,
fun. The intro's
fair.
reasonably self-aware with a random as montage with all their monsters,
Hmm.
but the rest of it's just garbage, really, and
Yeah.
that's
People talking
unfortunate.
about what's going to happen.
Yeah, so yeah, unfortunate, but we do have hopefully a much better, well, hopefully more entertaining lineup
Definitely.
because this one did not live up to the hype. So we've got the fifth Indiana Jones. No, yeah, fifth,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Fifth. Yeah.
fifth Indiana Jones, which is Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Hopefully, it's better than the fourth because the fourth one was terrible, and they had aliens in it too. I don't know if aliens is the
It did.
common denominator, but we will
Better
see.
not be.
And we've got the new Jennifer Lawrence film, No Hard Feelings. So I'm assuming this is a rom com. It looks like a rom com from the
Yeah, I think
thing.
so.
Yeah.
I really
Uh,
like her, so I hope it's not just a generic rom com because she's great.
yeah. It does look fun with the trailer, but I'm hoping it doesn't fall into that trailer trap where,
Mm.
they show you a good trailer
Oh
and
yeah.
Suicide Squad it. And I'm going to say this wrong, but it's the newest one on Netflix, Neoma? Naomi? Neoma.
Nimona.
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 Nimona. Like Shimona.
Nimona. All right, I'm going to say
Nimona.
that wrong every time.
Just think,
But
yeah, just think Shimona. Nimona.
Shimona. Yeah.
Exactly.
Us. We will get those ones to you as soon as possible. If you want to watch along, watch along. I don't know how you can do that. I'll watch Nimona on Monday. So when this is out, if you want to watch along, I'll be watching it at 3 o'clock. I don't know.
What?
I don't know. Watch party.
Yeah, watch at the same time as you. We actually
Yep.
could watch party it.
Yeah, we could. I don't know if we'll get. It would probably get copyrighted for it.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's not do that.
When I start streaming, I will because I couldn't give a shit.
Yeah. Just know that at 3 o'clock, wherever you are, I'll be watching it too.
Yeah. It's like the whole like if you look at the same moon as I look at night, then we're still together, sort of thing.
Yep.
At 3 o'clock, if you watch Nimona, we're watching it together.
We'll see how we go.
Oh my
But you
god.
know, all we do ask is that you tell your friends so
Tell your
you
friends.
can see us live on Mondays on YouTube and Kick. So that is at 7:45. Tuesday and Thursday on Twitch at 7:45. So come in, say good day. You might be able to see Lawson. We'll let you know what time that is. And maybe I might have sporadic streams on the Friday during the day. Really depends what is happening, but that keep you posted. So
if you want more details, the easiest way to do it is to jump on reimanntv.com. We have a link to our Discord in there, and everything we do, streams, videos, whatever, gets uploaded and alerted in Discord. So join the Discord, come hang out with us.
we'll see you guys then. Bye.
Love yous.